So another Andy B 2-minute video. Healthy house, happy house. I'm not quite sure what part of the world you are living in as you watch this. I live in the UK, and in the UK, our houses, we have to be able to cope with fairly warm conditions in the summer and fairly wet and cold conditions in the winter. So our houses are they have to be able to do a little bit of both. If you're living in a really, really cold country, perhaps you've got a different way of living. It could be, the Eskimos' igloo, for example. It works very well at raising the temperature. Or maybe your house is made out of timber. Perhaps you live in America and you've got wood in good surplus of wood. Houses are made of different things, and they generally are going to be built around the conditions that we're in. A house in the UK would be no good if we just shipped it across to Spain where it's really, really hot, because you'd be miserable all the time because it'd be far too hot. Our houses have to be based around the fact it's going to be cold and it's going to be fairly warm, but we don't have extremes of heat and we don't really have extremes of cold. So it has to be able to cope with a bit of both. Now, I was chatting with a guy the other day. He was doing a gas safety check on our boiler, making it sure all good and safe, which is fine. It's all good for another year. But he was talking about a house that he actually rents to somebody else. And they've had major issues with damp and mold and all the rest of it. And every time he goes to this house, the woman's there and she puts all her washing on the radiators, never, ever, ever opens the window because it's far too cold. And she's got major problem with mold and damp. Now, in every other respect, she's a really good tenant. So what he's actually done now is he's actually going to install air bricks around the house so that it forces air into the house, because houses need to breathe. If you shut all the windows to keep the heat in, you also keep the damp in, and actually a house needs to breathe, especially in the UK. They're designed to work with heating, which right now, as we're facing an energy crisis because successive governments think green energy is brilliant, but it doesn't produce enough electricity, and we've got this chaos that's been brought by them about a green argument, which really isn't what they want to make it out to be, but it's about control as ever. Yes, I did just say that. But we've got this major crisis that shouldn't be. So now people are thinking, well, we won't heat our homes because we can't afford the heating, which is really sad and tragic. We're in a system where that's what we need to do, and we can't access that, all of us. But houses still need to breathe. And our bodies, our spiritual parts of us, needs to breathe too. We can't just close ranks, go to church, never see anybody, because we'll get damp and mold infested inside of us spiritually, so to speak. So open the windows. Let people know what's going on. Let people hear that you're a Christian. Don't close yourself off. Open yourself up. It's healthy for you and it's healthier for everybody else. Just a thought.